Attention. The movie guys love movies. Any jokes about this week's movies are purely for entertainment purposes only and will be as quickly forgotten as the movies themselves. Isn't that right, Jack Ryan Shadoe Recruit? Ride Along, Devil's Due, and The Nut Job.
Who?
Her? Not only are we going to forget these, but they all sound like they've come out before. They all sound like movies that have been out years ago.
With all the confidence that coming January 17th can bring any movie.
Yeah. Disney had to put out The Nut Job in the 90s, right?
Seriously, Devil's Due, that's been out. That's absolutely a movie.
I feel like Eddie Murphy's already been in The Nut Job.
Right?
Jerry Lewis.
Right, yeah.
Every word you could put after the word devils has already been a movie.
There you go.
Due was literally due
Devil
to be in the
inside,
title.
yeah.
Devil's Supermarket. That would have been good.
I'd go see The Devil's Supermarket.
The Devil's Cut. I think that's a liquor, right?
Welcome to the Movie Showcast, everybody, part of the vast and sprawling movie guys empire. Why don't we take all these bricks and build a shelter for the homeless so maybe your mother will have a place to stay? You've reached ground zero for all things movies and comedy. We bring the two together right here on our show every week with rants, sketches, previews, characters, jokes, bits, special guests, and more. You can expect that in the next hour or so as we broadcast from the Admirals Club in the heart of Burbank Airport's flyover zone. And if you're new to the power of the Movie Showcast, you can catch us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Search The Movie Showcast or The Movie Guys. We come right up. And don't forget, we're also available on WBAD Radio at WBAD.net. So if you're listening to us right now on WBAD, it's 4 p.m. Eastern. Or somewhere in that time slot. 1
And
p.m.
do you
Pacific.
know where your children are?
Keep on listening.
And as always, please subscribe where possible. Tell your friends, share and like posts and videos and all that stuff at The Movie Guys on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. My name is Paul Preston. I am your host here with Adam Witt, Lee Caius, and Karen Volpe. Our guest this week is sitting in the whole show. He's appeared on TV shows like Monk and Factory and films like Employee of the Month and American Wedding. And if you're ever in Los Angeles, be sure to see him perform, often at IO West in Hollywood. Improviser extraordinaire Michael Coleman is with us.
Mr. Coleman.
Thank you.
Hey-o.
Nice.
Good to have you.
But we begin with our signature movie previews as Manuary continues. Manuary. Not a romantic comedy in sight.
Thank God.
Yes, it's a 4-movie weekend as studios thought January 17th would be the optimal time to release a film. They have such sexually suggestive titles as The Nut Job, Ride Along, and if you've ever been to see a prostitute in Guadalajara, then you know The Shadoe Recruit. It involves sitting on your hand for a half hour.
Paul, is a Shadoe Recruit what develops when you don't treat a Phantom Menace?
Exactly. Okay. All right. And of course, later in the show...
Hey, do you see this guy? He's just staring up at the house.
I found these weird symbols.
In early Christianity, there were
always
groups
find
of
weird
dissenters
symbols in these
who
movies,
felt
too.
that they could use these symbols for summoning an antichrist.
That's creepy.
That's the opposite of Christ, right?
Yeah, that's The Devil's Due. Little clip of that for you, so you get excited.
I think that anybody anywhere would say that someone staring at their house in a mask is ridiculously
Yeah.
scary.
We should stop that then?
Yes, don't do it
Guy with a bag on
anymore.
his head out front of your place. I ain't
Just
going
took out
out.
a loan for a business that does that.
Oh, shit.
Could you imagine if you did and you said, all right, I want you to freak out my buddy.
He's terrified of Holly Hobby.
As long as you stay on the sidewalk, I think it's legal.
I don't know why my Kickstarter's failing. I told them for $100 I'll stand in front of their place with a bag on my head. Anyway.
You can do it at Fiverr, too. For $5, I'll stand
your win.
outside.
Maybe I need to repeat the pitch.
Yep.
Or no, cut holes in the bag. Next time, that's what it was.
You know, people give living in the big city a hard time, but, you know, guys staring at you is going to happen in the woods more than anywhere else,
no,
right? Like,
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
you're dealing with that if you're out in the middle of nowhere.
You live in Manhattan. That guy's there all the time.
Yeah, so you walk right by him, you have to work.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Frank.
You live in Hollywood. You live on Yucca. That guy's every 20 feet. You're fine.
Give him a buck. Move on with your night.
Like I want to live on
doing?
I should also mention we record here Wednesday nights in the Admirals Club, so no doubt the internet is abuzz right now by the time you're listening to this show with the talk of the Oscar nominations. So be sure to check in with us next week when we'll have a thorough going over of all of the nominees. And I would like to give a quick shout out to the good folks at Rotoflix.
Yeah.
If you remember, Rotoflix was something our guest Joe Canale
Canale
talked about back in December. He said that you can go on there and play fantasy football with the awards season. And I got involved a little late, but Karen and I jumped on. We're playing in a league, and it's super fun. And next year, we just got to get involved in November. You pick movies, and you see if every award that comes up. They only do the big ones right now. The Globe, SAG, Critics' Choice.
It's too late to get in. I didn't
it's too late to get in.
Here's the greatest part ever about it. Not only do you get to pick the movies and compete, but you get to name your character. And so I got to be Bill Murray because it wasn't taken. And then you get to name your team. So I get to be the Tobin Spirit Guide.
Oh, that's a good one.
I am the No Time to Argue. That's my team name.
Now,
Username Indiana Jones.
Can you bet on the technical awards as well? The technical
No,
Oscars?
they don't have a lot of the Critics Awards and a lot of they only have like the 5 or 6 major
That was meant to
ones.
be a joke, but
Hey,
Hey, throw that out to Paul. He's going to take it seriously.
I'm sorry, dude. I will report on that shit on the website.
I realized halfway through the question, I'm like, this isn't going to land.
Not a cynical film bone.
Now-
Why do you think they give a hot chick the responsibility of telling you who won those?
There you
so
go.
you'll pay attention.
On the site,
best.
there's 5 teams, I think, that we're competing against, or maybe 7.
Canale's in there.
And I feel very good about it because I don't really take it as seriously as someone who... There's people you want to win, and then there's people that are going to win. And I pick the people I want to win, the movies I like.
And then hope they're going
and
to
hope
win.
they're going to win.
Yeah.
Other people are really good about picking the ones that everyone's going to pick. But I managed to get 4th place so far, I think. I'm on the board.
Are there trades?
You can make
Yeah.
trades.
Oh.
None
Yeah.
have been made so far, but I went to the free agency and dumped.
Very exciting.
I dumped director John Lee Hancock from Saving Mr. Banks and picked up Idris Elba. I think that was a pretty good move.
Well, because
I right now, I have
That's
Martin
fantastic.
Scorsese. I have him benched. So, well,
'cause
I
that
might pick him back.
Damn,
that
why
guy
didn't I
from
get on
Mr.
this?
Banks blew a hammy, right? So he had to get rid of
Exactly. He's out.
Injured reserve.
He
Pick him
won't
up on
make it
the
to any
IR.
more awards. Awards.
And
events.
what's interesting about this kind of league is I have James Gandolfini in there, even though he's dead. So he's still
But
playing.
he's in the running, right?
He's still in the running.
Well,
sure.
do you get to vote for who's going to be in the year-end who died this
Memoriam?
year? Memoriam?
I'm set. I'll be
Because
the
they always
last
forget
one.
3 people.
Yeah, but you should vote. You should bet on position. Like who's going
Right,
to be
I
your
think
finale
James,
this year?
James will be finale, don't you think?
I don't know.
No,
He's
I think they're
TV
going to
guy.
forget.
Yeah.
Oh, he's TV.
They're going
In
to
the end-
forget he's dead?
No,
They forgot like Farrah Fawcett and Michael Jackson last year or something.
Wait a minute,
right?
No, they
Farrah Fawcett's
included
dead?
like Michael Jackson, but forgot like Farrah Fawcett.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
they included like Whitney Houston, or I think, and then left out like Jack Klugman.
Do you think,
actor.
Yeah.
Who's in charge of that? It can't be an intern. How can it?
It might be. An intern.
But I got a pretty good shot. I got 12 Years a Slave, Bruce Dern. I got June Squibb and Emma Thompson.
I have Meryl Streep. Come on.
Of course, those were all losers at the Globe, so
Right?
we'll see. The nominations will come out tomorrow, and we get
August
points for
Osage.
nominees.
Globes went weird. kinda
Julia
this year.
Roberts.
Couple
Yeah,
odd choices.
I thought I'd lead into that for a sec. We'll give a quick talk about that because we do have 4 movies to get to. But what about any Globe thoughts?
I have one comment about the Globes, and I'll be brief. I started watching it. I forgot it was on, and I was just piddling around the apartment, and I came across it, and I was like, oh, the Globes are on. And I promise you, 5 minutes into the Globes watching this, I said to myself, there's something not right here. These aren't as great or as fun or as spectacular. There was something, I could feel it. I could feel just watching this show, and I figured it out before it was actually revealed to me. I could tell George Clooney was not in that audience. Just honestly, just watching.
Does he really brighten a room?
I'm thinking there's something. I'm like,
Camera's going to find him in the first half hour for sure. If he's there.
5 minutes into it,
Yeah.
I'm like, I haven't seen George. George isn't here.
But I thought they made a joke to him
Nobody's
about
happy. They
him and
did.
gravity, and he's the only man or something would float away instead of
Oh, that was a
spend another
great. Yeah, that was a
minute
great joke. It was
with a woman his own age.
In order to avoid
Oh, and
being
die.
with a woman his
Yeah.
own age, he floated off in space and died.
Yeah.
But I noticed it right away. There was something lacking in that room, and it was the Clooney factor.
Good for you.
Wow.
Yeah, and he should be there. I mean, he's in Gravity. He produced August Osage County, so he's every year that guy's a player.
Just so you
he
know,
won the
Michael.
Oscar last year for Argo, and he wasn't even in it.
I'm secure enough in my manhood. I don't have a problem with this.
He loves
okay.
Titanic.
Oh yeah, Titanic, you name it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt,
Got a lot of
Ryan
man
Gosling.
crushes.
Yeah,
All right.
Ryan Gosling. Well, we can
You're
all
learning
agree on
about
Ryan Gosling, right?
yeah, he's slick. You want to switch seats now, Michael? Okay.
Michael, you like Ryan Gosling, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who's your man crush?
Oh, boy.
Mitch Rouse, okay, but other than that.
Who else is there?
Given.
Let's see. Not alive.
Oh,
That's
No.
okay.
that's good because
That's
you
fine.
have good taste.
So
Burt Lancaster.
Oh,
There you go.
Handsome man.
Yep.
Oh, you know, Gene Kelly. There's a man crush.
Yeah.
Like who's not alive.
yeah,
Gene Kelly?
Paul Newman.
I like him.
I just got into Gene Kelly like a year ago. I watched a bunch of Gene Kelly films.
Who's my dead man crush?
He should have been James Bond. Anyway.
You know what's great about Burt Lancaster is how does a guy like that who talks like him have the career he had? You know what I mean? Like other people talk like the way we're talking right now, but he had this way. You know, he had a thing that he did. I can't even duplicate
Was
it.
he Chicagoan?
Oh, no. He was from the East Coast. I think he was from Connecticut.
Cool.
And then he was a gymnast and I think in the circus.
Well, that's hot.
He was an acrobat. And he was like in shape till his death, I think. Would swim and work out.
He was making movies with Kirk
That's
right up to the
awesome.
end.
And I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Swimmer.
No.
Never
Wait,
heard of
is
this film.
that based on the short story?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know there was a movie.
Yeah, and he's fantastic in it. And he's no kid in it, and he's swimming, and he looks like he's like ripped, and he's just like
Do you know the story of the
No.
swimmer?
No, that sounds great.
Michael?
short story.
Yeah, it's a short story about a guy who swims home from a party one night
Yes.
through the backyards of everyone's pool, right?
Yes, all the pools. Yeah,
This is a whole movie.
How does that
I don't know how they
happen?
made a movie, but it's a great short story.
yeah.
Is he that drunk?
He's delusional about what's happened to his life.
Who isn't?
Yeah, but he's got it bad.
So he figures out how he can get home by swimming through pools. That's the only way he goes home. It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really good short
That's
story.
cool. So, it sounds like Bradbury or
As-
something. Is it Bradbury?
Cheever, John Cheever.
Oh, John Cheever.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't do it wearing a weird mask, everyone's fine with it.
Well, they're talking about remaking The Swimmer with a mask.
I hope you like Shia LaBeouf as much as you like Burt Lancaster. All right, let's do what we came here to do, folks. Perhaps the most high-profile release of January, if there is such a thing, is Jack Ryan Shadoe Recruit. So in one of the dumber ideas we've ever had, to which, of course, it's impossible for us to say no, we'll introduce a few of these this week's films. A few of this week's films will will be introduced
What's
by
happening?
Jack Ryan Shadoe Stevens. So let's go to Shadoe to announce our first film.
They play rough over there, Jack. Victor Cherevin is unpredictable.
You Americans like to think of yourselves as direct. Perhaps you are just rude.
Coming in at number 40, this is Bobby McFerrin. And don't worry, be happy.
Sounds like he gets shot and got the shit kicked out of him at the end of that. Maybe he'll be back for future movie introductions. I
You're
don't
right,
know.
Paul. This was one of our dumber ideas.
We
One of
really
the
should have a board
funnier.
of the dumbest ideas because I don't know if that one's going to get unseated, honestly.
When you said Jack Ryan Shadoe Stevens, I said something has to happen with that. I don't care what it is. Anyway,
Just like Bill Nighy, not the science guy.
exactly.
Not the
These
science
things
guy.
will live in infamy.
See, Michael laughed at that one.
Let's get to the movie. Here we go.
Next week, Guy Frankenstein. Jack Ryan is back in his fifth adventure, which makes this like the Octopussy of Jack Ryan films.
While the British press and Twitter may explode with the announcement of a new James Bond or Batman, nobody gives a damn who's playing Jack Ryan. He's been played by Alec Baldwin for all you 30 Rock fans, and Harrison Ford for you fans of him up until everything after Air Force One, and most recently Jack Ryan was played by Ben Affleck, which was the first time he caused an uproar on social networking sites, when hundreds took to Friendster in protest.
Now Jack Ryan is played by Chris Pine, and I think they went with a very good choice here because he's famous for being the second Captain Kirk. So he's already knows how to play a part like someone else. I mean, maybe he has a gift for making every part he plays someone else's.
This movie also stars Keira Knightley or Natalie Portman. Actually, they might both be in this movie, but it's hard to tell, as together they don't take up a lot of space.
The Shadoe Recruit is an origin story of sorts as Jack Ryan joins the CIA on Bring Your Explosions to Work Day, and thus marks the first time in a long line of instances in which Jack Ryan reluctantly takes the gun he is handed.
You're not just an analyst anymore. You're operational now.
does do that a lot, doesn't he?
He never wants the gun. I'm a desk guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
And Russians are the bad guys in this one. Never a stretch, is it? No. But Russians have been especially good villains in movies since Russia elected an actual Bond villain for their president in an election that I'm convinced was run by Joel Silver and Jerry Bruckheimer.
Here, Ryan fights financial terrorists. Do you know what financial terrorists are?
Financial terrorists. I do believe those are people behind $12 cupcakes and $6 coffee.
Let me explain the difference between a regular terrorist plot and a financial terrorist plot. In a regular terrorist plot, things explode, buildings blow up, and people get shot. Whereas, according to this trailer, in a financial terrorist plot, things explode, buildings blow up, people get shot, and everyone's Target card gets stolen.
And just like the new Star Trek movies, the fight scenes in this movie also work better with Star Trek fight music over it.
Go and play the trailer to this.
It's just the greatest music, right?
It is.
It sort of sounds like the music for Dunna Dunna Dunna.
I thought it was Pee Wee Herman's Big Adventure.
It sounds like West Side Story.
But yeah, unless you like more the Cable Guy version of that same music. All right, and that's Jack Ryan. Shadoe Recruit. That's your movie.
All right, let's talk about Cable Guy. Underrated, right? Severely underrated.
Oh, yeah.
There's a Judd Apatow movie you haven't seen.
Yeah, Cable Guy was, much.
Ben Stiller did a great job.
I know. Underrated director. Finally getting rated, I think, for MIDI, maybe. But, yeah.
And everyone knows the story that Farley was supposed to be in that role.
Was he?
Yeah, that he was. I think
it was supposed to be him and.
Was it supposed to be him and him?
Cable Guy?
Yeah, Cable Guy.
Yeah, so
Farley and
you're
Spade.
right. I think that was how it was first developed. Was that Jim Carrey's part was going to be Chris Farley, annoying the
David Spade?
smarmy guy on all the
that'd
sitcoms.
be
Yeah.
awesome.
John Larroquette?
David Putty?
I like David Spade because he has a ability to be on a show at all times, and you don't always know about it.
He's never stopped working, and I've seen the first show he was on,
exactly.
I think.
But he is just quietly kicking ass and working every day and being with hot chicks, and we just don't
And not
know.
working that hard. You see any of his performances in these show, he's just kind of does this again.
And he's just so
The least
lucky.
noticeable actor, yes.
He's on Just Shoot Me now, right? Is that
Yes, exactly.
Sure.
George Siegel,
It's on Thursdays.
still work.
Yeah. So there you go. Jack Ryan, Shadoe Recruit.
He continually has a parking space with his name on it. Oh, are we still talking about that?
Well, here's the first thing to say about Jack
Yeah,
Ryan,
one thing.
Shadoe Recruit. It was supposed to open December 25th, and now it's opening in January. So
That's still
begging
Christmas, right?
begs the question, what's wrong with it? Right?
Wow.
Now, how many? So there's only 4, right, Jack? Because 1 for each.
5.
Who did 2?
Harrison Ford.
He did 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did he do? He did Patriot Games and
Clear and Present Danger.
Clear and
and these
that's
were all
right, yeah.
summer releases. Even Hunt for Red October, actually, that might have been spring when they were first testing the waters with the Jack Ryan character. Harrison Ford took over. They're huge hits. The Ben Affleck, Morgan Freeman one was a big hit as well. So why January for this one? Why isn't this hitting in the summer? It's a shame because
Morgan Freeman was playing the part originated by James Earl Jones, right?
That's possible. I don't recall.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, Jack. Told you to speak your mind. I love that line. But that's the best one, right? Hunt for Red October is clearly the best
I think so.
Jack Ryan
Well,
movie.
that's
Big
hard to
Clear and
say.
Present Danger fan.
That is a pretty good movie.
Patriot Games is kind of a revenge tale. Irish terrorist goes after Jack Ryan, but the Clear and Present Danger plot was a lot more expansive and got a lot more interesting, I thought. And they threw Willem Dafoe in there as Mr. Clark, which was badass.
Yeah, he's a badass villain. He's going to creep the scene up, right?
Yeah, but Hunt
Yeah,
for
put
Red
him in a
October.
mask in front of someone's house.
I was just
No
gonna
mask.
say,
Or no mask.
No mask. Have you seen the poster for
What would that be?
Nymphomaniac?
How would you feel if you were Willem Dafoe and a horror movie came out and the villains attacked your house wearing Willem Dafoe masks? He's just got to sit home going, yeah, just all depressed.
Oddly enough, he's a big fan of this show, and right now it tears as well.
I trusted those guys. Yeah.
Put the poster for Nymphomaniac in front of somebody's house.
But this
right.
one,
You seen that?
this movie doesn't look bad, right?
No, it looks good. So what is
No,
wrong
it looks
with it?
good. I'm totally psyched. And I love Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
I will see anything he does. And he continues to choose kind of interesting projects, being in The Man of
Yeah.
Steel and now this. And
And the interesting thing about this one is it is re-origining him. But the thing was, I always heard once Harrison Ford's in the role, you're going to do an action movie, especially if it's 1992 or whatever. But this one really looks like they are doing because he was always an analyst, the Jack Ryan character. He was never supposed to be a man of adventure, man of action.
Reluctantly taking the gun.
Taking the gun.
You're not just an analyst anymore. You're operational now.
There you go.
But it looks like they're actually, kind of doing that. Like he is a paperwork guy who gets sucked in. So I'm kind of curious to see that Jack Ryan, who's not bound by all these actions. Obviously gets in action.
But that was Hunt for Red October. He was clearly,
that's true.
Sucked into being a man of action. He didn't want to be.
Yeah, that was not a fisticuffs movie, was it? That was more the sub warfare.
Yeah, that's true. It was all head games.
Yeah, you're right. Suspense.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Yeah, you put that earring in his ear, he's ready for action. Wait, what? No.
And Lee, your favorite subject, we also now have another, first two of your favorite subjects. First of all, it's not based on a book, even though it seems like it is.
It should be.
It's based on a name.
There's a ton of Jack Ryan books, but this is based on the characters, so it makes me believe it's not, in fact, based on a book.
That's what's wrong with it. That's why
There you go.
Based on a name that Tom Clancy came up with.
Well, eventually, Jack Ryan, Executive Orders may be the name of the book. In the Tom Clancy books, he becomes vice president. But they didn't continue down that path, so now we have back to the beginning again. And the other thing is, of course, we have Brits playing bad guys.
Oh, wonderful.
And they're not British. Kenneth Branagh plays a Russian guy.
It's good that we have Russians as bad guys again. I really can get behind that. I
Finally.
feel comfortable with that. When I was growing up in the 80s, that's what we had. And then we had the Libyans. And then, I was okay with
Libyans! Marty!
Yeah, the Russians are back. It's kind of cool. They had an awkward phase there. Like GoldenEye, I think, exemplifies that awkward phase where scripts were clearly written before when there was a Cold War, but put into production after. And so they had to do these excuses of like, the Cold War's over, but we still have access to missiles, and that's what we're fighting against, or whatever. But now they could just be dicks again.
And it's got to make casting and writing these movies so much easier because during that age of political correctness where we couldn't quite identify any particular group or country as bad, we just had to have this kind of non-distinct Middle Eastern but not quite muddled accent guy from somewhere who didn't quite identify with a particular country. Now we get to go, the Russians.
And all those Russian kids, in the Cold War, they grew up loving the other side, cheering for their bad guys. Yeah. And they went into acting, and then they were like, "Oh man,
I
picked acting.
right?
Now it's all Koreans.
Yeah,
Exactly. North Koreans.
Paul, that's what I'm saying. No,
they've been working on their thing. They've been working on their craft over there, doing Russian improv and
the Russian IO.
Yeah,
There's a whole bunch of Russians in a barn doing this.
On the scene.
Warming up.
Do you think they study Stanislavski? They probably do.
They're all ballet dancers.
Russian.
Well, they have truth and comedy over there.
Sharna shows up.
I don't know what you think you're doing.
You just hear Dell in the corner coughing. There it is.
Everyone's got a Dell. Love it. We should do dueling Dells sometime. Everyone's got a good Dell. It'd be great to do a Dell.
Del close.
Dueling Dells.
It does easily start with the clearing of the throat. That is true.
If anyone has anything you could smoke with me, actually give me a ride home. That'd be fantastic.
We've given him a ride to an audition before.
You did?
Yes. It was on the west side. It was down more in the industrial area. He said, anybody going to the west side? We're sure, we'll take you. And he dropped him off at an audition.
And then Dell had a whole day after you left him. And what does he do?
What did he do on that day?
He wasn't too concerned about getting home, so.
Nope.
Yep. He'd teach you something brilliant, then stop and tell you about Elaine May's abortion for a while, and then get back to teaching you something brilliant.
Wasn't there an old...
Eyes on the clock?
There was an old joke, or perhaps it's the truth, that a lot of his stories had to do with some sort of illegal drug in an exotic location with a famous person. And then
it's like a Mad Libs.
It was, but a lot of his stories had a lot of those characteristics.
Maybe get a Dell movie greenlit. I mean, just
that would be
take
great.
Every story you've heard of him and make a character do all that.
Instead of Inside the Mind of Llewyn Davis,
Better
I
than
want
Hunter S. Thompson.
Inside the Mind of Del Close.
Mainline that thing.
Better than Hunter S. Thompson, right?
You've been greenlit.
All right, let's get on to our next film, because if it's January, it must be horror films. Yet, with January releases like Guillermo del Toro presents Mama and The Devil Inside, before it, 20th Century Fox now is confidently releasing The Devil's Due, not to be confused with The Devil's Dude.
Was that yoga?
It increases the chances of conception.
Let's have Jack Ryan, Shadoe Stevens, tell us about The Devil's Due.
There's a very real scenario here where we don't get out of this alive.
We're compromised.
If you find the truth, will you believe it?
The hit at the top of the Billboard chart this week is George Michael's Monkey.
That's quickly gaining traction as the dumbest. Yes,
What I said before. That's the clip someone thought to put on YouTube. The week he called George Michael's Monkey the number one movie number one song in the country.
I have got to get this on YouTube.
It must be shared.
That's true, because back then it wasn't easy to just upload things automatically. Someone went back and had to somehow get that into the computer.
I bet you'd be hard-pressed to find George Michael's Monkey on YouTube.
Absolutely, Karen. They had no time to put on a shirt or clean up the laundry behind them before they rolled camera on YouTube.
So it's time for the Devil's Due. Thank you, Shadoe. That was great. Yes, the 4 scariest words in the human language. We're having a baby.
It's ultrasound activity as Rosemary Babies meets its, ripoff in Devil's Due.
It's a give birth to Satan movie that up to now had the working title, The Opposite of Christmas.
The trailer begins like this.
At last.
Oh, shit. Oh, no.
My love has come along.
We're having a baby.
That is so...
Now, note to everyone listening, if you ever hear Etta James at last, run for the hills! Because things are just a little too good, and you're about to have a battle with Satan for the soul of a loved one.
This warning sign crosses all political spectrums because upon hearing at last, most Republicans think it means Obama won a third term.
And quicker than you can say, somebody call Michael Bean! Suddenly, the wife begins to have mood swings and starts behaving oddly. How is this any different from just being pregnant? Well, I can't say, never having had the spawn of Satan myself.
True. Now here's the plot right off of IMDb. After a mysterious lost night on their honeymoon, a newlywed couple finds themselves dealing with an earlier-than-planned pregnancy.
Yes, earlier than planned pregnancy. That's a horror movie's way of saying knocked up.
While recording everything for posterity, the husband begins to notice odd behavior in his wife that they initially write off to nerves, but as the months pass, it becomes evident that the dark changes to her body and mind have a much more sinister origin. That is the description of every pregnancy.
Now, as you can tell, Genre Hole Filler, the movie, is another found footage movie, with the family documenting every moment of the pregnancy with several camera angles and a perfectly boomed audio. They shoot everything so they can lose the footage so that it can be found later and turned into a found footage movie. Somebody please just let this footage stay lost.
This is a horror movie complete with ominous previews that say things like, all the warning signs were there. And we couldn't agree more. Warning signs like, directed by Tyler Gillett and written by Lindsay Devlin. Shudder. There you go. What was it?
Hey!
That was the outgoing music.
Triumphant demonic.
It's over. Okay, I don't know who those guys are, Tyler Gillett and Lindsay Devlin.
You know what?
But she does have Devlin. It sounds like devil.
Yeah,
I'll give her that
go.
much.
Yeah, she might have got the part.
Should have put that shit on the poster.
Yeah. Might have got the thing because of that.
I feel like there's just way too many horror movies anymore.
Yeah.
That used to be 1 or 2 a year, right?
And you brought up a good point. It's a lot of found footage horror movies.
Depends on what year you're talking about. 1980, there were 50.
Is that true?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there used to be big years of horror movies. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of them. Yeah. Especially when there were drive-ins and stuff. They were packed.
That's the place to see a
Summer
horror
and
movie.
fall releases. That's what a lot of them were.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they would always be October releases, which we've noted they don't do anymore. They actually put them out now so that they're on video for Halloween because everybody sort of stays inside for Halloween.
I think that's a great idea to see a horror movie in a drive-in, and then you just hire someone to stare at the cars.
I was just going to say,
with a mask.
that's when you stand up next to the screen, just kind of look at everybody.
That's a good night.
Yeah.
That's a good night.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
Now, after the last year we've seen of movies, there is a very good chance this wins the weekend with a $40 million opening.
Absolutely.
Because they just do that sometimes.
And there's nothing else really to see. If you're into horror movies, there's no competition.
Yeah. So, I mean, horror movies are kind of like back, but not in a big way, but in this kind of surprising way where, yeah, they do. Each month there's going to be a horror movie, pretty much. They know that hole is there to be filled, much like the nut job. They know every month there's going to be an animated movie. And that, talk about when we were kids, one animated movie came out every year when we were kids. Now it's definitely every month there's one. But anyway.
Yeah, it's a dozen or so. But Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, happened while we were on break. That
went, right?
Yeah, so that went, so Will the Devils Do Go, they were both found footage movies. As Paranormal Activity movies are. Now, there's another movie that normally a Paranormal Activity movie comes out in October-ish for Halloween. Now January. I don't know, sign of low confidence? Who knows?
Yeah.
The horror movie using the found footage makes sense, and I can understand the fact that it's just kind of all weird angles and stuff. But do you think it's possible to have a found footage movie be an actual movie, like a
love
dramatic
to see another
movie?
genre, right?
Like,
would
would
like
it be
a found
possible?
footage comedy? Jason Bateman comedy? Yeah.
Yeah, or like an August Osage County or something that's like a real substantial movie, but with that found
Actually,
footage.
I think Capturing the Freedmans is what you're talking about.
Is
Has anybody
that-
seen that?
That's an
No.
actual documentary, though.
I know.
Yeah.
But it looks so found. I can't believe they were rolling at certain times and capture. Have you seen Capture?
I have not seen that.
Oh my god!
I've wanted to.
What is
Never
that?
You have, yeah.
Very disturbing.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Stays
That-
with you.
It stays with you, and that plays like a movie that has been plotted out. There's revelation at
She's
minute
writing it
20,
down.
a revelation at minute 40,
Yes.
a revelation at an hour, and you're like, and yes, they are running the camera at family fights.
Yes.
It's crazy.
Crumb
What's in that
also
movie?
had
I love
a,
stuff like that.
kind of very
Oh, yeah.
storytelling element for a documentary.
That's
You
true.
know, it wasn't found footage. Well, it was still footage. Maybe, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Crumb is a great movie.
That is. I would need to
yeah.
rewatch that.
That
one.
is a great
That's
movie.
the one that sticks with you. That movie I can't shake. And,
Oh, you mean the guy swallowing the gauze pads? That stuck with me. That weird brother.
With a mask on, standing outside your window.
Robert Crumb standing outside your window. That's it. That's
Drawing
the
a big butt.
There's your horror movie, exactly.
Keep on trucking. 2014.
Have you seen the viral video that's online with a little mechanical baby they've been pushing around New York
Yeah.
Times Square? That's promoting this movie.
For Devil's Due?
Devil
Yeah,
Baby.
this-
Oh, that's right.
This little baby
That
in
is for this.
a like you'll just be walking through Times Square and this baby carriage goes by and you have to stop it because you're like, oh my god, someone's baby, and then this little devil baby pops out and goes, "Rah!" and he's got a full on mechanical face, so he goes like twisted face with like red eyes and shit, and people just jump back and go nuts. It's the new way to promote a movie because it worked for Carrie, although I don't know how well it did, but there was certainly, you knew it was Carrie was coming out because he did the whole thing in the coffee shop.
Oh yeah.
And now they have this, so go see that
I
if
don't
you
Flash
if you're hearing
mob
us right now.
marketing for your movie.
Yeah. Well, you gotta stick with the times,
Well,
right?
even Ron Jeremy had to do, not Ron Jeremy.
Please.
Oh my God.
No, please let it be Ron Jeremy.
Oh, make up something with him.
He had to go out and just
Found
fuck in the
footage?
middle of the street.
At Starbucks, there's Ron Jeremy humping a woman. Hey, I got a new movie coming out. Who wants a latte?
Do they ever go that far?
Who wants a
fucking my
latte?
Fucked my car. Get out of here, Jeremy.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy just runs around and fucks things. Hey,
Wash it again.
Now, when I say Ron Burgundy, it's very close.
Oh, that's where you're going.
He was doing viral advertising as well.
I like the one you fucked up.
Yeah.
Great Odin's ghost.
Great Odin's Raven. Ron Jeremy stuck his penis in my gas tank.
My car's never driven better.
It's kind of a big dick.
That's awesome.
All right. I think that's enough, Paul.
All right, that's enough.
Fantastic.
That's enough. Devil's Due.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that anymore.
Well, that won the weekend.
Well, Pixar, let's talk about one of my favorite film makers ever. They pushed their film The Good Dinosaur to 2015. Oh, so we're not going to talk about them. So that means there will be no Pixar release in 2014.
Oh, that's a first for them, right?
That leaves us, for since they started.
Yeah.
Every year they got something.
But you know The Good Dinosaur is going to be that much better because their story process, like if they hold something back, I'm in.
I went to the D23, the Disney, it's like Comic-Con for Disney.
How many of those have they had?
22?
It's actually called D23. They call it that every year.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know how many there have been. It's
I
the
thought
fan,
they were 23.
That's
D23 is the name of the fan fest. I don't know why they call it that.
What the fuck's this?
I don't
Move on with
understand.
the thing.
The point is, they had a whole presentation on The Good Dinosaur, showed artwork, talked about the whole making of it and everything. They're all excited. Now I got to wait a year.
Adam got mired into a conversation you didn't really want.
Didn't mean to. I thought I was asking a stupid question with an easy answer. Yeah.
It's just like bringing up the technical awards.
Did you learn nothing?
I'm a fucking movie guy. I will have an answer for your ass.
Did you learn nothing from the technical awards question?
All right.
I'll trade
Point
you a
is-
Foley artist.
That's what I'm talking about, Rotoflix. Start adding like deep credits and deep award shows. I want the VES represented.
I'll trade you the inventor of the lens
Below
flare.
the line, Roto.
Yeah.
Below the line.
Respect.
So anyway, with no Pixar movies, now we have the nut job. That's what I'm getting at. So let's turn once again to Jack Ryan, Shadoe Stevens for an introduction.
You think this is game, Jack?
They will bring us to our knees without even firing a shot.
Is this the end of Shadoe Stevens?
That's from Craig.
I don't think we'll see him again.
No.
That was the end of Shadoe Stevens.
I mean, you pointed out, by the way, I wanted to bring up earlier that Russian voice that he's using. You think this is game? You and I were having a conversation like, you know what? The Russian that he's playing in that movie and the Russian from Beverly Hills Cop, you guys know how to you know how to put together
there's an A in that sentence.
You just know it sounds more threatening if you say it all Russian-y.
Right. You think this is a game?
You think this is a game? Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, our neighbor doesn't put all of her words in, and she's Armenian. She just leaves them out, and we fill it in for her.
When we moved in, she said, "My children are animals."
And she had a martini, and she looked drunk. So we've been getting along great ever since.
That's her version of welcome to the neighborhood. Anyway, let's talk a little of the nut job, shall we?
Why not? After all, it comes out this week. Doesn't that justify this?
Hey, do your kids love loud noises?
Do you hate your kids?
If the answer to either one of those questions is yes, then here's a movie for you, The Nut Job.
Which you might know by its working title. It's not far off. Here, let's play a clip. Actual footage.
No, The Nut Job is not Kirstie Alley's life story, but instead, January's entry into the CGI animated treatment of a particular group of animals. Because you know the rule, one of these has to come out every month. It's The Inside Job with squirrels.
In a huge step back in the career of Liam Neeson and a huge leap forward for the career of Gabriel Iglesias comes the animated tale of innuendo and entendre, The Nut Job, starring Scrotum the Squirrel, Taint the Bunny, and Dingleberry the Possum.
The movie contains a veritable who's that? Of voice talents featuring Will Arnett, Brendan Fraser, Stephen Lang, and Katherine Heigl.
You know how you can tell this is going to be bad? It's got that one voiceover guy, the one that does all the straight-to-video movies. You know the guy.
When your whole world comes crashing down, all you have to do is look up.
Nothing good ever comes of that guy telling you it's about life, love, and nuts.
You know how I can tell this movie is going to be bad? It's got Katherine Heigl in it. Won't somebody please just marry her already?
I agree with you, Karen, although the early reviews for this movie are surprisingly positive.
But the ball is groin. It works at so many levels. Roll it again.
Stupid kids are going to love this movie.
There you go. Are the smart kids going to Devil's Due?
Yes. The smart kids are waiting until next week.
Do you imagine the parents that just pay no attention? I've heard it's about kids. Go to it. I've heard it's about kids.
Like a miracle of birth.
It's about a mother and a father. You go.
A family movie.
Go in there, you guys. I'm going to get some cigarettes. Go in. Watch the movie.
Mom will be out here trying to score.
Ron Jeremy, hey, I haven't seen you in years.
Just doing some viral advertising. Don't mind me.
Don't mind me. My cock's in the popcorn. Ain't no thing.
I used to have this kink in my hip, and then Ron Jeremy came on it. It's great now.
We immediately stopped talking about this movie.
Yeah, it's got animated squirrels, and you know what? I'm into that.
They all look like
actually. I
Ratatouilles.
like squirrels. Yeah, I don't know.
Bunch of Ratatouilles, cracking nut, whatever.
There's a mole. He looks kind of funny.
Yeah,
What was the other
Hedgehogs? A couple hedgehogs. They're pretty funny.
chicken nuts, or what was the nut?
Yes,
nuggets.
Yeah,
Chicken Run.
Hollywood animated films infatuation with ball-related movies
Double
continues
entendres.
with this.
Hide your nuggets or hold
on to your nuggets.
Hold
That
on
was
to
the
your
movie
Yes.
Freebirds,
Freebird.
and now we have the
Yeah.
Nut Job.
Nut
So
Job.
I mean, who knows
Freebird,
what's next?
also a d'entendre, referring to the song, I guess, right?
Yeah. I probably had to pay money.
That should be
for
called Free Range. In fact, I bet it was originally.
Well, they had Home on the Range.
I'm waiting for the movie Boner. There's just going to be Boner.
And that's the one Ron
And it's about a
Jeremy is
skeleton.
out. He's trying to promote.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
He's a
Boner.
skeleton.
Hi, everybody. I'm Boner.
Yeah, and his
All
best
right.
friend's a barracuda.
You've heard it here first. Boner, the movie.
He's
will be
looking for his
released
body.
soon.
The
Boner
friendly
Barracuda.
skeleton. Yeah.
I want my body back.
Patent pending. Patent pending.
Boner the skeleton. I love that. I love that.
When you're a skeleton and nobody wants to be friends with you because you can't hold on to things,
Just look up.
just look up. It's about life,
And
love, and
Sometimes
boners.
the only skin you need is friendship.
Just because you're only bones doesn't mean you don't have a heart.
Keira Knightley is. We are laughing.
We were laughing because we were such good friends.
It's getting a little less and less, but there's still a good spirit.
Hey, good news. Good news, you guys. I saw a dog today.
And change of subject.
Oh, wait. One last thing
Well,
before we
we
leave Nut Job. Because Liam Neeson is in this, I want to play a clip of him from the film. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Contracted AIDS. How did you get that? From an African prostitute. I'm riddled with it. The prostitute's from an African country that's ravaged by starvation. So selling her body was the only financial recourse she had left.
Did you watch that the other day? Did I send that to you?
The clip of that film?
Liam Neeson prostitute.
I don't think so.
Because I was just watching that in preparation for the show, too.
yeah.
Although I have to say, looking at the trailer, Liam Neeson is obviously, in terms of the voice talent, although Will Arnett's got a great voice, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a
We all love
hilarious
Will Arnett,
voice.
yeah.
No, it's the Who's That comedy, whatever. It's there to just piss on everything because, well, that's why not. Will Arnett didn't know he was in this. He's in 12 Pilots this year. Anyway. No, but the clip with Liam Neeson in it is really funny looking. He's a raccoon who holds a falconer's glove, but it's got a cardinal on it, like an Angry Birds cardinal. It's a really cute look because he's got this like it's a raccoon with a cardinal on a falconer's glove. And it's
Well, I
just a
imagine if
funny
he
image.
brings that super gravitas to some animated character, it'll be funny.
Yeah.
I imagine.
No, he worked in his underwear.
Yeah, well, that's why you do it.
That I would like to see.
For our final film of the big weekend, we're turning things over to our special guest, Michael Coleman, who will join me here to preview the latest project from hardcore gangsta pimp motherfucker Ice Cube. It's a buddy comedy called Ride Along. Shadoe Stevens doesn't know anything about black comedy, so we'll just go right into it. Here we go.
Never stopped us, Paul.
It was clear from the box office returns of Grudge Match that audiences wanted more Kevin Hart. They didn't have to wait long because this week sees the release of Ride Along.
Yeah, Ice Cube plays the tough-as nails cop and brother of the woman that Kevin Hart wants to marry. But here's one catch. Ice Cube plays the tough-as nails cop and brother of the woman Kevin Hart's character Ben Barber wants to marry. Seriously, though, we're pretty sure that tells you everything you need to know about this movie.
Be summed up in a sentence, absolutely. In the movie, Kevin Hart, voiced by Chris Tucker, plays a pipsqueak security guard who's trying to deepen his relationship with his girlfriend, only to be challenged at every turn by her masculine brother, played by
Crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
who works for the
Ice Cube disapproves of the boyfriend so much that he hides in their bedroom to interrupt them as they're getting it on. It's a funny scene in the trailer, but in conception, it's only one Ice Cube masturbating away from being a Lars Van Trier film.
In order to win Ice Cube's blessing so he can propose to her, Kevin Hart is taken on a ride along. It's the sort of plot development that you'd want to name your movie after. Got it.
During the ride along, he's shown the seedy underbelly of crime that his future brother-in-law inhabits. Because only once he's seen that the world sucks, that he can marry the sister? I guess every species has their own mating traditions. Elks pee on each other, for example. Frogs rob banks. That would make a very different movie, but one at least that I would rent.
This is from the director of Barbershop, Tim Story, probably because the demand was low for the director of Fantastic Four, Tim Story. Remember back when nobody knew how to make a superhero?
Let me guess. Ben only has 24 hours to prove himself worthy, right?
It's a movie, isn't it?
They thought of repairing Johnny Depp and Armie Hammer and calling it Move Along. Nothing to see here. There you go. As I always say about Lone Ranger, not without lack of trying.
A lot of trying.
Yeah.
That movie tries like a motherfucker.
Yes, it does.
And we are already talking about a different movie.
That makes for a really good Halloween costume.
Oh, here's the thing about Ride Along, I think.
Oh, yeah.
As evidenced in that Conan bit with...
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Which clearly was a promotion for the movie, and I just now figured that out.
Oh, hello.
You just figured that out?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a ride
Not
along.
just like, but
To
like
catch the
moments
audience
ago,
up,
yeah.
if they don't know, Conan took Kevin Hart and Ice Cube on an unannounced ride along in a Uber or whatever the
Lyft car,
a Lyft, pink mustache car, and then that was which was very funny.
Hilarity
I mean,
ensued.
those two have a lot of personality.
So the movie just has to get out of the way, and I fear it might not. I don't know. The trailer kind of looks like what we always talk about The Watch and how Vince Vaughn has to work his ass off in these
works
movies.
his ass
I hope
off.
these guys look like they're working real hard, and I hope they don't have to. I hope they chill and just because the two guys are just super funny and just let them be let them be funny.
I mean, these two have a ton of personality. I mean, this trailer played like crazy when I saw it in the theater, like big laughs. And then I told you guys that, and we all watched it together, and none of us laughed.
Yeah, I hope for good things.
Well, the only reason I didn't know that Conan bit was a promo talking about the Flash Mob Marketing Live promotion, Jeremy fucking your coffee bit that we're talking about. Is I had not seen a preview for that movie because they did that. I think they did that bit a little too early in the preview cycle, and I remember watching the bit going, "This is funny, but why the hell are Ice Cube and Kevin Hart hanging out with Conan? This is random. Okay, this is kind of cool."
Yeah, you're right. That was like 3 weeks ago.
Right? It was a little too much ahead of the movie, I think.
Michael, are you going to see this movie?
I am going to see.
Okay.
I like Ice Cube. It's funny that all the rappers, like the hardcore, West Side 10 rappers, are all playing cops in movies and TV.
I know.
Yeah, we were just talking about the fuck the police video was so legit. And now they're just like dads,
Are we there
on
yet?
TV.
Isn't that the Ice Cube movie? Are we there yet? Dad in an SUV?
But who yells at their kids probably better than I've never seen that movie, but better than Ice Cube, right?
Better than black people. Black people really know how to yell at their kids. I wasn't even. My parents weren't even black. I got yelled at black neighbors. That was great. They were really good. My mom was like, "Go next door and get yelled at. We don't know what to do with you."
I don't know if you told the story on the air, but on one night you saw both Ice Cube and Ice-T in the same prime rib joint.
Yeah. Okay, so I was
Fantastic.
Was it the Sizzler?
Whenever at Christmas time to make the money, I no longer prostitute. I Christmas carol.
Oh.
So I was Christmas caroling at Lowry's, and
Less messy.
less sticky. So I was
Just as much nog, though. Turns out.
oddly enough. And so I was in my little Victorian outfit, and we were going from table to table. And the first one we went to was Ice Cube.
Did you see Christmas in Hollis? Tell me you switched up right there and you went to Christmas in Hollis, right?
Wait, Ice Cube's in this movie,
It was
right?
December 24th.
All right, so it's the guy. Okay, so we go to Ice Cube's table. We go to Ice Cube's table, and he has about 15 people there, and he calls us over. Oh, you got to come sing to us. And
Dude,
we're
that's
thinking,
awesome.
it's going to be great because they give great tips at this place. So we sing a couple of songs, and everybody's excited, and they're singing. They want us to
Fucking
do
sung for Ice Cube?
right?
Dude.
No tip. No tip.
Cube gave you
You
no
should
tip?
tell them
No
that
tip.
that's going to start a stereotype.
I
If they
know,
don't tip
right?
you that day, that's going to start a stereotype.
We didn't get a tip, but we just kind of were
That's
being
fine.
polite about it. And then someone said, Ice-T's on the other side. So we were like, well, let's get the hell over there. So we sang real quick. We
This
got
went
to
so well.
Ice-T.
Let's go to that table.
Finally, the answer, who tips better? Go for it. This is exciting.
So the cool thing that happened was we go over to Ice-T, and he's with a couple of people, just one or two, not the big table of people. And
TV
we
star
say,
versus movie star.
We say, hello, Mr. T, or whatever we call him.
You don't call him that anyway.
Was Mr. T there too? What a night.
Mr. T tipped are the best. We asked him, is there a song we could sing for you tonight? And he didn't tip us, but what he did do was, oh, no, that's cool. I know you're working. Just don't worry about us. Just take it easy on us and you can go do someone else.
No, that's all right.
That's all right.
Yeah.
And so we, of course, were just like, damn it, no tip. So we stood there and we went, we better save face and just kind of go to the next table because we didn't want to look like we went over there
And
just
it
to
was
see him.
Reginald Veljohnson.
Chuck Woolery.
And it was a nice man and his 2 teenage children. And we said, is there a song we could sing for you? And they said, yeah, we'd like Silent Night. And so we just did a really quick version because we want to sing and get out. We were embarrassed that we didn't get tipped and stuff. And we sing, and they all just quietly looked at their hands. And the man started to cry a little bit and handed us $100 bill.
What?
Mm-hmm. I think
shit.
think that they were having
Jewish.
a family.
They were
They were
Jewish.
Jewish. I think they were having a family dinner together for the first year without the mother.
Oh.
And so even though these 2 ICE
Now, was that
people,
just your detective in
Yeah.
you? You don't know
Interesting.
this.
I don't know that, but I'm telling you, they were 2 adult,
Wow,
like
that's a cool story.
teenage-ish, adulty college kids, very politely looking down at the dad. They were all quietly enjoying
Like
Silent
Mormons.
Night.
Like Mormons.
They were Mormons, and they gave us $100. Boom, and we were like, "See ya."
Wow.
Wow.
So
Yeah, you got to be
Wow.
careful with Ice Cube because it's on record and CD that he has attitude.
Well, he's with an attitude.
They
right?
were all very nice.
That is a cool story.
Thank you.
That is a good story.
All right, so right along. That's the last of
That's
our
right
big
along.
4 movies that are playing this week. But
Yeah,
enough
they're
about the movies.
cramming them in there.
Let's
Can't
talk.
release them in April. They'll all lose in April.
Well, now that the Captain America is opening in April, I mean, they're not. You can't. January's it. You want to dump? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Michael Coleman.
Let's talk to Michael Coleman.
Let's ditch the movies for a second. Talk to our guests.
Yeah.
I'll start with what we ask every one of our guests on here. What is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time.
And I will tell everybody.
today.
I will
Favorite
tell
movie
you,
today.
I will tell you what I tell all of our guests when we ask this question. There is a wrong answer.
Oh, wow.
So, no pressure. Take a moment.
If
you say Raiders of the Lost Ark, you'll be all right.
My favorite movie, I guess, of all time. That's tough.
Of all time today, I would say. Because like mine changes. Like some
Yeah,
days
mine
I'm this,
Or
some
let me
days
give
I'm
you
that.
this. Let me give you the other option that we give people.
Your
Not your favorite
clarifications scare people, Lee.
I will couch this as delicately as possible. The one movie
No,
you
you
can
won't.
watch.
We know you.
The one you can watch over and over again.
Oh, there you go.
Godfather 1.
There you go.
You know, they played those at the New Beverly at the 30th and 31st. Did you go?
I didn't.
Oh.
God, they played Godfather 1 and 2. I've never seen them in a theater. And I was even having a conversation with my roommate who's a huge film fan, but he hasn't seen Godfather in years. And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, I've watched it not in the greatest situations. I'm like, dude, watch it with me. And, you know, but I really wanted to go to the theater. Can you imagine?
New Year's Eve? That was it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
New Year, 30th and 31st. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
It is I mean, you know what? It gets a lot of people say Godfather's a great movie, and some people I think are just sort of by rote saying that. But man, every time you sit down and watch that movie, that is one masterfully put together piece of cinema.
There was somebody on the radio, somebody on the Stern Show that was saying that if you see the movie now, it doesn't hold up. And I think that's a bunch of crap.
That is a
I
timeless
just
movie.
saw it last year, and awesome movie. It totally holds up.
What period piece doesn't hold up?
Exactly.
It's not even set.
That's what I'm saying. I've said that ad nauseum about Raiders. You know, because it takes place in the 30s, it's not an 80s movie.
Yeah.
And then Godfather's not a 70s movie because it takes place in, the 50s and 60s? So, yeah, it's timeless.
Godfather?
Yeah.
40s.
40s, okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
There you
Okay.
go. So it's timeless.
Post-war.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Michael's
Michael-
coming back from the
Michael
war.
comes home.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
home. And just the way Gordon Willis shot the whole movie. Oh, God. It looks like a painting. You know, it has that sepia kind of thing, and it's just every frame. You could freeze those frames and sell, you know, those as individual digitized things for God knows how much.
Pieces of
beautiful.
art. Yes.
They really are. I mean, even when he gets shot, even the apple cart, the vendor across the street.
It's the only color
Yes,
in
yes.
that whole
It's-
scene.
It's crazy how
And
beautiful it is.
Is it an apple cart or an orange cart?
Isn't it?
I think it's oranges because at the end
It
he puts he's carving the orange, and that's sort of a symbol for death again. I think that's one thing that Coppola said is whenever the color orange is on screen, death is imminent.
Ooh.
Or was it red? I thought there was something like that.
Is it? Yeah, because he asks for a couple different things.
Yeah.
The guy doesn't charge him.
Yeah.
The vendor. So no, you know, and then he hears the footsteps. So.
And another great thing about The Godfather is all those 70s filmmakers, the film school brats who came out. You know, gangster films was 100% a cheesy type of movie to make in 1972.
Yes.
There were no good gangster movies like there are now. And so it was a knockoff. It was going to be like Top of the World, Ma. That was a gangster movie, And so like to give all this gravitas and reality and like Italian life and Italian family and all that stuff, that was unexpected for that tale.
Well, the book had sold so many copies.
Yeah.
So.
Wait a minute. This was based on a book. Oh, jeez.
It's a movie, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
So's Jaws.
Yeah, I should have known.
Paul and I, when I first saw it, I probably had the coolest way to first see the movie. I had not seen it. And Paul and I, he won money on a game show, and he took me to Sicily to go back to my homeland.
Yeah.
And so on the way there in the plane, we watched Godfather 1. And then I believe we started watching Godfather 2 at the first place that we were staying, like the olive oil.
I think we started it on the flight. I mean, that's a 13-hour
trip. So the second part of the flight, maybe.
Yeah.
But when we finished the whole thing up on a ferry taking us from Sicily to the mainland. And what was so neat is when we were watching, I think it's in 2 where they actually go to Sicily.
Yes.
Oh my God, it really looks like that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We would watch the movie, I think it was around Christmas time, and then we would drive out, and it looked like the movie. It was amazing. And it still looks like the movie.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Yeah, we went to Corleone. I mean, there's nothing there that's all exciting. It's a super tiny Italian.
It's
but you had to be you're in Corleone.
You're in Corleone.
How great is that?
Yeah.
And it had more of a gritty feel than some of the cute little quaint towns. It was more of a city, but of course they're all tiny, but it was cool.
Here's a question. What's the first rated R movie you ever saw in the theater?
Oh, my buddy and I snuck into a movie that we weren't supposed to see called Prime Cut.
Oh, Prime Cut.
I think it was in a revival. And
Who's in
Gene
that?
Hackman's in it, and they're like selling girls. They're selling women. We were really little.
Whoa.
Yeah, we were really little, and we snuck in. We were bored with our kid movie, and we went next door because all the big people went next door, and all the cool like rock and rollers were going in there.
Were you in Rim Job? You don't want to see Rim Job?
No, we did. We passed on Rim Job.
Prime Cut.
Prime
Man.
Cut.
Wow.
Look it up on IMDb, and
Okay.
Hackman's like a cop, and he's trying to break up this like almost like a chick slavery ring, and there was like a lot of flesh, and we were like, wow.
Oh, so there were boobies.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
That's better than my first rated R movie. That was The Jerk, which was hilarious, but no boobies.
No.
Yeah, my brother took me to Stripes, and they had that shower scene, and I went, hair? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question for future. What is the first boobs you saw in the theater? Which I guess yours would be Prime Cut, right?
Prime Cut, I think, yeah.
God, I love Hackman. The guy.
Yeah, that's true. You're the Hackman. That's a good choice for your first rated R movie.
Yes.
You can't beat Hackman in the 70s.
Made it look easy.
Yeah.
All the best.
Stir
did.
Crazy was my first rated R movie.
That's a good one.
And my parents took me to it.
Oh,
That's creepy. Okay, uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It was we were hilarious. It was hilarious. We all had a blast. I think I was 11 or something by that time.
My parents took me to Vacation. I don't think they knew what they were in
That
for.
was the first
but that's kind of a soft R.
That's a pretty
not
soft.
like a-
That's kind of like The
yeah,
Jerk. It's like, it's not.
I think if you go back and watch Stir Crazy, it's pretty soft.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't take me to Richard Pryor live in concert or something.
Yeah,
Because then my
exactly.
parents would run out screaming.
Cruising. This looks good.
Now you just made me question something that happened in my childhood. This is odd. When I was about 13 or 14 in 7th, 8th grade, something like that. My friend Cindy Powers, her dad got a VCR.
No names, please, Karen. No
Oh,
names.
I'm sorry. Never mind. He got a VCR, and that was like really advanced then because we didn't get one for a couple of more years.
Yeah.
And I
Magical device when you got it, right?
Right?
VCR? What the?
Amazing.
Could you believe it worked? What the? Does this?
You could watch a movie right now.
Yeah, exactly. Cooler.
So I would go to her house, and her dad got it because he loved to watch all those teenage naked movies like Porky's and
My Tutor.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
My two class.
Blame it on
Is there
Rio.
something creepy
Hard
about that?
bodies.
Like we would sit there and watch his movies, but he would go out of his way to, and it was back when it wasn't easy to get these movies. And
Back
he's-
when they were like $80 a pop to
Yeah.
buy a VHS copy.
so that's where I first saw Porky's or Fast Time at
Oh,
Ridgemont
wow.
High on his player when he was
Ew.
gone. Creepy.
Oh, when he was gone.
Yeah, he
He
wasn't there.
Gather around the TV, kids.
Yeah.
movie night at Stephanie Powers' house. Or,
I'm going to make a Manhattan, and you kids.
Get yourself comfortable in
put
your
your
own
pajamas
way.
on. Let's go.
That's all.
Fight.
I like to do a little hash up afterwards and talk about what we watch.
All right, notes.
Pay attention.
Note session.
In what way was the protagonist's use
of the dildo?
Del Close.
Now, at Fast Times at Ridgemont High, that is some great nakedness when she's coming out of the pool.
Oh, that's one of the greatest.
Oh my good lord! Yes.
Phoebe Cates.
Wow.
And not just like in Porky's, it's like they're looking and it's secret and the girls are kind of far away and you kind of say, no. It is just the full wet slow motion boobs. That is a perfect.
And she looks right at him. So she's looking right at you, and you're
and she's like one of the most attractive women of all time.
Female director. Amy Heckerling.
Amy Heckerling.
Yeah. So it was like, hey,
Smart girl.
Point of trivia for anybody who's a commentary track fan. When I first got a DVD player, another step up in technology, I was obsessed with commentaries. It was so cool that you could hear people talk about the movie. I was like, did they make this just for me? I mean, who's into this? But so I used to record commentaries, listen to them at work, stuff like that. But the one for Fast Times, I've never seen a commentary where it blows past the credits and then it's just black for a half hour as they keep talking. It's Amy Heckerling and Cameron Crowe. And they talk for a half hour after the credits, and it's just black on the DVD while they just keep talking. That's pretty cool. Anyway.
Did he talk about putting his wife in the movie? Because she was, she's gorgeous.
Maybe so. Who's she in Fast Times?
She's the girl in the Corvette that he's delivering fish or whatever.
Oh, that's Cameron Crowe's wife?
Yeah.
Hart. From Hart. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nancy Wilson.
Nancy Wilson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone liked her best in Heart, right?
Yeah,
oh
I
my
did.
God.
The other one was kind of fat.
Anne had a great voice, but man, everybody liked Nancy.
Go harder on her.
You could do a whole gallery of the girl in the car, like Vacation. There's Christy Brinkley, and that's like a
Suzanne
convention.
Summers
right?
and Graffiti.
Graffiti. You're right. It's the girl, the unattainable girl in the car next to
In
you.
the unobtainable car.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't afford either of those things.
Bye.
It's a line from Jack Reacher. Then I definitely can't afford you.
Yeah.
I heard you called her a slut. I inferred whore.
Hey, let's bring that up again in a little something we like to call.
What did you see this week?
It's a great new one. That is so much better than the other two attempts.
There you go. A little round of what did you see this week? So I take it you saw Jack Reacher.
Yeah, well, that's on Netflix Instant, and so that won the lottery. And that movie is just, of course, with the music of our previous guest,
Joe Kramer.
Yeah, that's such a great. God, Christopher McQuarrie knocks it out of the park with the dialogue in that movie. Totally. I mean, that is some fantastic dialogue. Yeah, there's the bar fight scene is what I was quoting there, and the girl sits down, and I can't remember. She's a plant there to get him stirred up or something. I can't remember.
She's there just to start a fight. So
to start a fight.
So the guys have a reason to beat him up, which is really interesting because they don't really need a reason to beat him up. They just could beat him up, but it's this whole ruse to.
Yeah, it's like a strange. It seems like a complete anomaly in the plot, and then it turns out to mean a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, he's like, I heard you. What did he say? I heard you called her a whore. He goes, no, I inferred prostitute. She heard.
No, I inferred slut. She implied. She inferred whore.
Anyway.
I said slut.
Great line. I said slut.
Dark movie at times. Great action, a lot. Tom Cruise, great lead. That's a great underrated movie.
Yeah, really
now,
solid.
Netflix Instant, so get out there and see it.
Yeah, and that's what I saw instead of all the things at the fucking Golden Globes. I watched the whole Golden Globes, and I never watched the Golden Globes. There was a huge party over at Charlie's uncle's house, and everybody got together. They love watching award shows and everything. So I was like, oh, a party for the Golden Globes. This is the way to actually watch the Golden Globes. Watch the whole thing, and the whole time I'm like, God damn it, I haven't seen one of these. I'm so behind. I've never been this behind with like Oscars and Golden Globes movies.
Well, your movie checklist will come out tomorrow with the Oscar nominations. So then just start at the top and go down.
Go see The Wolf of Wall Street.
I have to see Wolf of Wall Street. I have to see American Hustle. I have to see Her. I have to see Her.
Captain Phillips. You see Captain Phillips?
I haven't seen Captain Phillips. Probably not going to see that. But Gravity's back in theaters this week. I'm going to Gravity.
That's really good.
Still haven't seen Gravity. So I can't comment on anything but a dumb fucking Netflix movie from last February. What else did everyone else see this week? Anything relevant?
I picked up your slack and I saw The Wolf of Wall Street a second time. Yeah. That movie is fantastic. That movie is illegal.
I didn't even ask you this. That part that's funny. Is it funny the second time?
Yes.
It's so good. I know.
Yes.
So good.
There'll be so many spoilers to explain how great that movie is.
Yeah. Okay. After the Oscars, we can all spoil away. Michael Coleman?
I'm sadly behind, but I did watch one of my favorite movies again on Netflix, which is Rare Exports.
Oh, the Santa Claus movie?
Mm-hmm.
There's an evil Santa Claus movie. Okay, go ahead and explain the plot. This my roommate was really obsessed with this idea, and I might have watched the whole thing actually.
In the European tradition, in the story, Santa Claus is evil, and he's there to punish the children, and if they're really bad, take them away. And
I like it already.
yeah, and to never, you never come back.
A real Sinterklaas type.
Yeah. So an expeditionary, team is digging to the bottom of this mountain, and the people that live nearby who are like farmers and
Are they? It's Arctic or something.
Yeah,
it takes place in the Arctic.
Yeah, they're
right?
like at the top of Finland where it meets Russia, I guess.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in that neck of the woods.
Minsk,
Omsk, Lapland,
Omsk.
Yeah, and so these guys are doing this expedition to extract this frozen block which holds the original Santa.
Yeah, like you would an evil alien,
Or
and it
like
turns
you
out
would for like Christ or something. It sounds.
I thought you were going to say that they were extracting all these frozen children that Santa had been putting there all these years.
No, but what it's done is you want me to tell you?
I do. I'm not going to see this. Everyone else, plug your ears. Tell me what the hell goes on.
It stirs up his followers, his elves that look like Santa, look like what we think is Santa, like little old men with beards.
It's a Yuletide!
And they start stealing things and start doing things that they know he'll like. Like they start taking children from the town.
Wow. This is great.
Maybe I didn't see all of it.
Hilarious. It's
Rare exports.
Who's in it? Anybody that we've heard of?
No.
Unknown.
No, it's all Finland people.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's very, very enjoyable. And then I watched a documentary called Greenwich, about Greenwich Village.
Now, which brings me back to the movie I have seen, which is
Llewyn Davis?
Inside Llewyn Davis.
I've seen it.
And that's the Greenwich scene,
Yes.
right? Yeah. Is that what sparked that? Did you see?
Yeah, I just saw it because they changed the format on Netflix. So I was like, I'll see what they put on there.
Yeah.
On January 1st. And then I was like, I'll watch
Now-
Greenwich then.
So I saw Inside Llewyn Davis. Has everyone in this room seen Inside Llewyn Davis?
I have.
No, that and her are the ones that have gotten away so far.
Well, Coen Brothers movie, so I'm very excited. I'm even a fan of very quiet, what I call still lives, like the European films that are just very still, and then great meaning comes out of these quiet moments. And I'll go see a movie that's described as incredibly boring if it's European, because I think if I'm going in with the right set of mind, I can really get into that. This plays that whole game. This is a very quiet, what you would call boring movie. But it just didn't seem to add up to anything. And the thing that I love about the Coen brothers, but which I couldn't believe would happen on this one is, as I've said before, there are many Coen brothers movies that I go to and I go, oh, that was pretty good. I kind of like that. And then I see it a second time and go, oh, no, it's the greatest movie I've ever seen. I somehow didn't see that the first time. It's like the second viewing Coen brothers thing. Even Lebowski, which I loved the first time. The second time I saw it, I was like, this is the funniest movie ever made. And that just didn't occur to me the first time. So I'm now hearing that this movie, this complete boring still life in which nothing happens with an unsympathetic character of no consequence, is great the second time. I can't believe they did it with
Well,
this one.
I do have the lead actor as one of my actors
I have
for Rotoflix.
I have the film in my my wild card spot.
I think he's my leading actor. I don't think he'll win, but hopefully.
He's got a shot at an Oscar nomination. Was he good, Oscar Isaac?
Yeah, but he doesn't do anything. He's good at being quiet and unassuming and kind of being a shit to
You have a
the
different
women.
opinion, or do you like?
No, I mean, that's who he is.
Yeah.
He's not redeeming like in other, Coen Brothers movies. There's always someone that's like such a, they're such great storytellers that it's kind of linear and it's interesting, but.
Did you like the music?
I did. It seemed to me like they were going to delve deeper into the whole scene and how it was about to explode, and that kind of was flat to me. It was all right.
Yeah.
Because that's a part that interests me.
Too.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I thought it was cool, and it looked beautiful, and, even though they didn't have their DP that they always use.
Oh, Roger Deakins.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they
He's
didn't
the
have
best.
Deakins.
They haven't had him for a while. They got Lubeski for a while.
Yeah, he was on some Bond movie. So
oh my God, Skyfall! That was like the greatest looking Bond movie.
Deakins hit it out of the park.
He shot Prisoners too, and even though Prisoners not an amazing movie, it could get an Oscar nomination for Roger Deakins shooting it because the goddamn movie looks beautiful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And consider what
He is the
what
new
they were
Conrad
filming.
Hall, or
They made that look good.
Yeah.
They went Pennsylvania, right? Mining town.
Yeah. Oh, they made it. Yeah, somewhere like that.
Yeah.
They look dumpy still, but gorgeous.
But gorgeous.
Yeah, a gorgeous dumpy. All right, well, let's jump on to a little
Well, I
something.
do want to say one thing about what I
go
saw
ahead.
real quick.
Yes.
Yeah.
I saw Anchorman was playing on like TBS, and so was Talladega Nights. So I just want to warn our public that if these two shows happen to be on opposing channels on your TV, and you start watching one and then you fall asleep and roll over onto the remote and change the channel and wake up into the other one, there's a good chance you're not going to notice.
Oh, no.
They're just Will Ferrell movies, that's all.
Little baby Jesus.
Yeah.
Little baby Jesus in there.
And then you roll back over, and then it's Ron Burgundy, and then roll over, it's Ricky Bobby, and roll over. And
It's interesting you should choose those two, though, because you can totally, for a while there, he was, what wacky sport will Will Ferrell appear in next?
Yeah, ice skating.
Semi-pro.
Basketball.
And,
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, so let's do a little something we like to call 5. Haha, said 5. What? Yeah, 5.
What?
Yeah,
Questions for other guests. This is 5 questions for other guests. The premise, of course, is that we've come up with questions for guests who then aren't here, but Michael Coleman, you are here. So we'll put these questions to you,
right.
We don't
if
wanna
you
waste 'em.
wouldn't mind answering
I'll
them for
try
us.
my best.
All right, so first up, Michael Coleman, what do you feel is the best drug to win a Golden Globe on, and why?
Best drug to win a Golden Globe would have to be ecstasy.
I think that kind of explains itself. To be honest with you.
I mean, because you love everybody,
Right.
and you feel good, and you can drink ecstasy or mushrooms, I guess. But the mushroom part might be tough because they keep breaking the show for commercial breaks or whatever. So that might freak you out with all the movies.
because you lose the sense of time, right?
Yeah. You already don't have a sense of time, but I think ecstasy would keep you going unless you got really sweaty and you actually won something.
Make you really
had to go up
thankful.
there. Yeah,
right?
very thankful.
And-
And very lovey, you know?
I was going to say, you do, like you said, they thank everybody. And everybody's like glittery because a lot of girls are wearing sequins. So that would be great. All the bright
That's true.
colors and lights.
No, I think ecstasy is actually the right choice. You're right, because everyone loves everybody and they're self-congratulating, and it's like an ecstasy event.
Just everyone wants to rub up against each other at those events anyway. You know, you just want
Literally and figuratively.
touch it.
Yes.
All right, well, that's good information. All right, I have a question here for you.
Okay.
Since the baby names Bear, Cricket, and North were already taken by celebrity parents, what are you going to name your baby? I know, those are taken, and those were good.
Those are good ones.
Let's review the list again. Not an option.
All right, okay.
Bear, Cricket, North.
Yeah.
Which would leave
Apple, also Apple.
Apple's
oh, yeah,
gone.
you can't use Apple either.
Blue is gone.
7 is gone.
Blue.
Kumquat still available.
The color, but not the cheese. Blue.
Kal-El is gone.
Rash is still available.
A boy, Rascal would be a pretty good name.
Rascal.
That is a good name.
Yeah, just straight up Rascal.
Rascal
Coleman. That is
That
a country star.
He's a total Nashville star.
Oh my God!
How does
Welcome
that
to the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah, how does that guy not chase the Duke boys?
Rascal Coleman.
Yeah, and then for a girl, I don't know. If I was in that realm, in that stratosphere of being a star, I guess like Empire or whatever would be a good girl name. It'd be like Empire or somebody.
Empire.
You have to deal with her.
That'd be good.
That's a good.
Yeah.
That would empower a girl, I think.
And you could call her Emmy for
Yeah,
short.
that's it.
As a Star Wars fan, I have to say, Empire is a great name for a kid.
Yeah, can't exactly call her Dantooine.
No.
Dantooine, too
Danny.
much.
Call her
House,
Danny.
maybe.
Around the house.
Well, no, you call her
Shorten it.
Dantooine, then you call her Danny. And then,
Danny, you hungry?
Hey, Danny.
Come on.
Well, my real name's Dantooine.
They're on Dantooine.
The opposite is happening. Normally, people name their kids like Frank or something, or Frankenstein, and their short name, the kids all make fun of it. This is, the normal name is fine, and then like weird, and then the one that you make shorter is,
Soon Steve will be weird.
yeah.
What's your name, Steve?
Oh, one of those old-fashioned names.
That's a weird name, isn't it, Ferris? Yes, it is.
Cricket.
Logan.
Roof shingle, leave those boys alone.
Roof shingle. Off-ramp.
Off ramp, leave Steve alone.
Mr. Coleman,
Yes.
if you had the last 4 months to live over again, how would you exact petty revenge on the citizens of Fort Lee, New Jersey differently?
Oh, gosh. I would find out. I would try to do an informal poll through a local radio station. Find out like the music they hate the most, and just buy the most kick-ass like stereo system.
Dancing Queen, right?
Yeah, and just blast it. Just have trucks drive up and down like old campaign style, just blasting it.
Dancing Queen on a loop.
Some REO Speedwagon.
Yeah, just
you could also put that in all the city buses.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, smart. Instead of the announcements of the next stop, it just, when it's supposed to come on and tell you the next stop, it just comes on.
Oh, God, I'll get out here. I'll get out here.
Yeah. Just psyops, I'll just break them that way.
Break them.
Just break them.
Michael, actually, I have a question for you or another guest. What is
Michael's here.
The secret to your famous quinoa?
The secret?
Yeah.
Vegetable broth.
I have an informed opinion.
I don't even
no
know
idea what quinoa is.
I don't know what it is.
And I wrote
Tell
that
us what
joke.
quinoa is.
Quinoa is a non-grain. It's a grain, but it's like a replacement for rice. It's
it doesn't have starch, right?
Yeah, no
It's
starch.
no starch.
And no glutens, I believe.
Yeah.
Can you throw it at weddings?
You can.
Does it make birds explode when they eat it?
No.
Only if you shake them. If you shake the bird, that's always a
I
problem.
would imagine you don't want to throw it at weddings with the vegetable broth.
No,
right.
dry. Throw it when it's dry.
Heated vegetable broth thrown at the wedding.
Unless, of course, Ron Jeremy's near the barrier.
Promoting
Ron
his
Jeremy
movie.
broth.
Oh, no.
One last question here in our 5 questions for other guests.
Real answer for that one.
I know.
That's good.
You see how we were all thrown.
I'm now going to go make that. I'm like, oh, yeah, of course, vegetable broth. What the fuck?
Not for nothing. If you want to learn how to make quinoa, Google or check on YouTube for David Lynch makes quinoa. Not
What?
kidding. It's
So
like
nobody got that?
Hilarious.
That's why we asked the question?
No, I
Did he
didn't
has
get
that video?
Oh, no. Is it,
Oh, no, I
is it
didn't know
titled?
about
That's why I made the
okay.
joke.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
I
Oh, my
thought you
God.
just
Hilarious.
needed to know information about quinoa. No. All right.
So that question was for David
I thought
Lynch,
you
but he
assumed
didn't
Michael
show
Coleman.
up.
I thought you assumed Michael Coleman to be a non-quinoa kind of guy, and we'd right turn him on that, and then he turned around and
He nailed it.
yeah. No, David Lynch starts to make quinoa. Then it becomes the weirdest David Lynch video you've ever seen in your
Awesome.
life. And he's up close, and he's smoking, and he's telling crazy stories about Mexico and shit. And he's making quinoa. But it starts out with, get yourself a pan. The
I'd
usual.
watch him do anything.
It's
I
the
love
greatest.
that voice.
Oh,
He's
it's
an
the
awesome
greatest.
woodworker, too, with like a crazy shop. Like a crazy deluxe shop. I swear to God.
God, I love
What does he
him.
make? Like I can imagine him making like
Tables
clocks.
and like anything.
Yeah.
And scroll work and,
He's the best.
That is awesome. I know, and that voice and the weather reports and I just
And the return
love
of
it.
Twin Peaks.
What?
I heard this.
What is happening? What are
I
you
don't
talking
think
about?
they're doing a full series or anything like that, but he's going to do something, maybe even just
For the
online.
DVD release. I think,
DVD
right? Blu-ray release, I
Yeah.
think. He's shooting new Twin Peaks stuff.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And the same cool haircut he's had for a long time.
I know,
I know, it's a
right?
little
He
jealous of
rocks
that.
that. He has
Yeah.
a lot of hair.
He does.
You need a lot of hair to
I
have
wonder
that
who his
haircut.
barber is. Like to
Same
go-
guy that
I'd
does
like to go
Lyle
get that
Lovett,
haircut.
right?
That's right. And
Clearly.
Lyle's handsome.
Yes,
And
he is.
so there you are.
Michael, are you a Twin Peaks fan? Are you a Twin
Yes,
Peaks
I
fan?
am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
Very
seen every
good.
episode.
Nothing else like that, right?
No, nothing.
Former show guest Ted Raimi appeared on that.
Wow.
Great
Oh,
stuff.
did he?
Yeah.
Friend of the
Maybe on
show.
there. Oh.
Sure.
Friend of the show. Wow.
Of the show.
Michael, why do you feel you're the right '90s basketball celebrity to act as envoy to North Korea?
Well, because of working in the trenches, down there getting rebounds, it's you got to fight for the things you want. I want that ball, I want the rock, I want to get it out. That's what my bonus is tied to. And going to North Korea, I'll be able to get in there, elbow,
Do you
elbow
think-
some of those stars.
I believe
your
that's
way in.
exactly what Dennis Rodman would have said.
I think so.
Well, we just wouldn't have understood it.
I think Dennis Rodman is too. Thank God he doesn't know how crazy what he is doing is, because I think he's handling himself quite well for Dennis Rodman. Nothing's blown up yet.
True.
Very
True.
safe. I think it's a very safe statement. Yes.
Yeah, well, because in the NBA, he was dangerous. Now he's in a country with nuclear weapons.
Of all the cast members of Double Team, I think he's the most qualified.
Nicely said. The look on everyone else's face at that news conference where he went off, the other players, they were like,
I know. Like, I thought we were just playing a game. I didn't know he was all getting crazy. That's funny.
give me my money, I'm getting out of here.
You a Bulls fan?
I am a
Chicago
Bulls fan.
guy, right?
Yeah.
How long were you in
Hardcore?
Chicago?
I grew up there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh.
And so all 6 championships you were there.
The first one might have been in New York, and then the rest of them I was there.
Did you try the Broadway thing, or what? Or what did you do?
I was studying there, and then my girl was working in New York, and I was working on the Brady Bunch with the Annoyance Theater gang.
Oh, do they go to New York?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think they're starting a theater. Annoyance is starting a theater in Brooklyn. Am I right
That's
about
what I
that?
heard, yeah.
I think
Oh,
I
good
heard
for
about
them.
that.
That's
yeah.
cool. That's
yeah,
cool.
that's perfect for
Yeah.
Brooklyn. That's great.
And Mick is still the man there, right?
Sure.
I think
Mick
Mick's
Napier.
in town right now.
Oh,
Working for
here in Los
NBC.
Angeles.
Yeah.
Is he? Shit.
Yeah, doing some kind of showcase thing.
Really?
Trying to work with NBC or something like that.
Yeah, hit the internets if you don't know who Mick Napier is. And do
Yeah,
some
well,
research.
that reminds me.
Brilliant teacher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. I just saw, and I don't remember what I was looking up, but there is a feature film, I believe, called Talent.
Yes.
That is you and Mick Napier. I'm going to see Steve Carell, but that might be in the Louis C.K. movie. But it's but there's a whole feature was shot. I can't remember who they said directed. But I don't know. I don't know how I came across it. But it was
Eric Hoffman and this guy Joe Lamarand, I believe is his last name. They wrote the movie together.
Yeah.
About a Indianapolis guy who comes back from L.A. He hasn't really broken out. He hasn't really done anything.
Why are you looking at me?
Because I just
You look like you're
want to connect
This
with
guy,
you.
Haven't really
guy.
done
Connect
anything.
with you.
Yeah, that's all right.
Cut
And,
to.
You looked at the right person.
Because you didn't like my Burt Lancaster answer. No. And, he's a bust out, but everyone thinks of him as a big shot. So now he's got to, kind of grovel, and I play, a successful local Indianapolis
I
actor
love it.
who's a real, asshole, and the late, great Jim Zulevic's in it.
That's right. I was looking up Jim Zulovic
As a director.
the anniversary
Yeah.
just passed.
Yes. God rest his soul. What a great, funny guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look up Jim Zulovic and look up the movie The Specials. I
Yeah, really
love
great.
that movie. Yeah.
Gunn?
James Gunn now
Yeah.
directing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
But one of the best superhero movies of the 90s. Yeah, and Jim Zulovic plays the smartest man in the world.
Sounds about right.
Because we delve into this all the time. We've had a lot of guests on here from Second City and the improv scene and all that. So, and you're no different. Second City trained from what year?
91.
Who was
90?
your favorite teacher?
Oh gosh, that's tough. Martin DeMott was great. Mick was great. Boy, they were all great. Norm Holly was great.
Yep.
Probably Mick, because then I went over to the
You went-
Annoyance, and I wasn't going to keep going. I didn't have money to keep going.
Yeah, it's really expensive to do all that.
Yeah, people were like, "I'm doing it all." I'm like, "How do you do it?"
I
I know.
literally put it all on my credit card and just
Yeah.
racked that thing up because I was taking an IO as well at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah, that's tough.
Crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. So
Yeah.
and then I ended up over, at the Broadway space, which was amazing. And
I don't know that.
yeah, the Broadway
Annoyance?
space for the
Bank
Annoyance.
now, right?
Is it a bank?
Oh.
Well, it was right across from the Ginger Man, right? That's what you're talking about?
No, that's Clark Street.
Oh, that's the Clark space.
That's
Yeah,
the
the
one
Bro-
I'm
Oh, you mean
familiar
the current one's on Broadway, right?
No, the new one, way up there on Broadway, but they're moving to Belmont, back to the old neighborhood. The old
They are.
neighborhood. But this was in a store that had like a Swiss ski chalet on top, and that's where Mick lived. And then before that, it was like a transvestite nightclub, and then we took it over. And
That
made
sounds
it
about
a
right.
theater.
Yeah.
And
You sure Transvestite Nightclub wasn't the show that the Annoyance currently had going
Inspired
on?
a lot of our
Yeah, co-ed
no.
prison slots? Were you in co-ed prison slots?
Just as the warden. I fill in as the warden now and again. But great shows, and just like every night of the week, and people rehearsing upstairs, downstairs, and classes. It was like nonstop, and the whole scene was just crazy in town. Like
Yeah.
Cool thing about Annoyance was, when I got to Chicago, there was Second City, which was the venerated,
Yes.
the veterans. There was IO, which was the really kind of strong, different upstart. And then there was Annoyance, which was punk, just like punk improv, right?
Yes.
It was like all the craziest things that are going on in improv and all the craziest people in improv are all there.
Yeah.
It was a really cool scene.
Yeah. Back when I started, I did a show with Tom Booker. Tom Booker directed it called William Shakespeare's Sid and Nancy. And since I could play guitar and play music, and I love the Sex Pistols, he's like, "Yeah, you want to be in this?" I said, "Sure." And I played Steve Jones, who was on the radio out here for a couple of years before they killed that station. So it was like so weird to hear him on the radio every day for an hour or whatever his show was.
Man, he used to get out and play around town too. Did you ever go and see Steve Jones?
I saw him play with a lineup, I forgot who he joined in with, but it was like some of the guys from like Warrant, and it was like these metal guys,
Yeah.
but he was with them.
Yeah.
But so we got invited to play the Bailiwick theater festival, and it was a Sunday afternoon was our time slot, and we brought all of our like cast members and like other kids, like students who hung around and dressed everyone dressed super punk and had like, you know, we just went crazy. We had like mohawks and, you know, like the full on gear, and we played live, you know, for this thing intermittently in the show. And there were all these like Shakespearean theater companies there. We're drinking. It's a Sunday afternoon, and we are loud, and we're backstage, and we're crushing and bottles and cans and whipping them against the wall, and just like really, really into it, you know. And,
sounds perfect.
And we got like thrown out. Like,
yes.
We played our part of the show, and we got like ran, and we were uninvited, and Tom had to apologize. It didn't matter, and you know, he was like, you are never to come back to this. Never to be invited.
Bailiwick, but they got a bailiwick up their ass.
Yeah. But it was a good time. That was, I mean, you know, because we were doing. This theater was doing the Brady's and.
There Got Us Me Margaret or something.
That was later.
Later,
but
okay.
They were doing Manson the Musical and Co-Ed and Antichrist and Your Bud. I mean, and things that just like people would. Hey, I saw your name in the reader. I'm gonna come see your show. Like somebody from college, somebody real square. And then they'd come and they just like with their fiance or whatever and just be horrified.
And still getting it done. That theater, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Just. You know, just churning it out, and they're going to move to a nice new space and back in the old neighborhood, and they're very happy.
We got to get to Karen's birthdays before we go out. What's next for you?
I'm trying to write. I do live shows still with the gang, with the Beer Shark guys.
Beer Shark Mice.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, well, let me just tell you a quick compliment if I could interrupt. Back in 2005, Karen and I did a charity event for Gilda's Club, and Beer Shark Mice showed up and played for us, helped us raise like $1,200 for
cool.
Gilda's Club.
Yeah,
so appreciated you showing up with Pete, and I think everybody but Neil made it, and it was a great show.
And actually Neil couldn't make it, so he called us and he said he was shooting something at the time, but he was on Scrubs, so he got a couple things of Scrubs signed by different people, and I went and I met him on this other set, and he was so nice. He walked me around, introduced me to people, gave us the stuff he had signed, because he couldn't actually come and perform.
Yeah, he's so nice.
So if you see, and you guys are playing out again, I saw a photo recently, so if you see Beer Shark Mice around, be sure to check out some of the best improv you're going to get in Los Angeles.
Really smart, really fast.
Do you also do Joel Murray and Friends?
I do Joel Murray.
That's right. I thought I saw your picture. Yeah.
And
friend of the show.
Yes, he was on the show. He's fun. You're doing very well too. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
I know.
I think I'm getting out of here alive.
Will you be there next month?
Yeah.
I will.
Then we will go second Thursday of every month. Joel Murray and Friends at Improv Olympic. Always a great collection of nuts. It's great.
We have a good time.
Brian Stack will show up.
Wonderful. Brilliant.
You know. And so make sure to see that. But make sure and celebrate
birthdays,
everybody. Ladies and gentlemen. It's time for Karen's birthdays. There we go.
All right. Let's start off our week of birthdays by wishing a happy birthday to the king of all media, Howard Stern.
Oh, that's right.
He turned 60, but can play anywhere from Hook-Nosed Jew Bastard to the most fuckable man in America, according to the Bachelor Uncut website.
Uncut? So those are guys with... Okay, go ahead.
Apparently. Howard is known for his outrageous behavior on terrestrial radio, having 2 channels of his own on Sirius Radio, and for playing himself in the movie Private Parts, which, little known fact, was originally cast with Matthew Perry in the title role.
No. That's not, you're making that up.
I'm making that up.
Okay.
That's fun.
You know,
it's fun doing birthdays.
You also should mention Hook-Nosed Jew Bastard is something that somebody on his show says.
Yes.
If someone doesn't know that, then that sounds really weird that you just said that.
No, that's Riley Martin.
Somebody calls in, yeah.
And Hook-Nosed Mike calls in.
The reason you had me on that Matthew Perry
yes,
thing
is because it makes sense.
Is because it makes sense. And when they were shopping, being John Malkovich around, the number one response was, "We love it. Is there any way we can call it being Tom Cruise?"
Man crush with the Tom Cruise. True story. All right, so Private Parts is not the only movie that Howard Stern has starred in.
What?
In other straight-to-video releases, he was in Howard Stern's Negligee and Underpants Party, Howard Stern's U.S. Open Soars, and 1992's Butt Bongo Fiesta, co-starring Annette Funicello.
That's a classic.
Yes.
I love how all those movies are Howard Stern's. Howard Stern.
Tyler Perry's.
Guy knows how to...
Paul Preston's
Harold
the movie
Hector.
guys will be taking after that.
Next up, let's wish a happy birthday to another actor who has shown his naked ass on TV, happy birthday to Jim Carrey, who turns 52 but can play anywhere from Grinch to God.
The Duck Factory? He showed his ass in the Duck Factory?
No, I believe he had his ass talk on TV, didn't he?
Well, that's a movie.
Oh,
I
in
thought
a
it was
movie.
talking about because he only had one.
I think he accepted an award at something. And
Talked out his
Did,
ass.
actually.
I
It's
think.
true.
Yeah.
Might have been an American Comedy Award, so
Not now.
thing to do.
Not now.
And then Howard
He's
flew in
serious.
as
I just
Fartman.
wanted points for Duck Factory. That's what I was going for.
Hey, man, I watched that show, all 6 episodes
Yep.
when it aired.
Yeah.
I was a fan.
Did he
in
show
fact,
his ass?
In fact, when he was on In Living Color, when I saw him, I was like, hey, it's that guy from the Duck Factory. And nobody knew what I was talking about.
Because I wasn't in the room.
Why are you guys chasing me?
Now, Jim is famous for starring in Dumb and Dumber, Bruce Almighty, Me, Myself, and Irene, and tons of other movies.
Love at First Bite, yes.
Love it. But
Oh, God, yes.
what
Once
movies?
bitten. Once
Oh,
bitten.
Once Bitten. I get that
George
those two
Hamilton
confused.
is in it,
Oh,
yeah.
thank you. There's a movie guy.
There's a couple of movies that he actually turned down a shit ton of roles. He was up for a ton of roles. Some of them
They
he
made
was
the
in
sequels
contention
anyway.
for, right? So I'm going to give you the name of an actor, and you tell me what movie you think he turned down. Now, this is something from Tom Hanks early in his career that made him a big star.
Tom Hanks or Jim Carrey?
Wait, so Hanks turned the movie down.
Yeah.
That Jim Carrey.
Actually, Tom Hanks took the role.
Oh, that Jim Carrey turned down.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
Early in Tom Hanks' career, but it could have been Jim Carrey. It's a big movie for Hanks.
Is it big?
Philadelphia.
No.
Oh, okay, I thought you were giving it away
That's
there.
funny.
Philadelphia.
Nope. It's one of the first movies of Tom Hanks. Like,
Oh,
you
but-
go, oh, that guy's pretty awesome.
Splash?
No, Bachelor Party.
Bachelor Party.
Bachelor-
Would you see that with Carrie?
Ding, 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 ding.
Nice job.
I didn't know Carey was that big back then. Or I guess
He was.
He
That
was.
was exactly when Once
Yeah.
Bitten or...
Once bitten, once shy.
Sure.
Okay. And now the same idea with Matthew Broderick. He had a movie early on in his career that made him a huge star, and it almost with Jim Carrey.
Biloxi Booze.
No,
Ferris
that's
Bueller.
Ferris
later.
Ferris
Bueller. Ferris Bueller.
Went to
Could
Drew
you-
Carey. Was going to go to Drew Carey.
No,
Was gonna
not
go to
Jim Carrey. What is happening?
We're not here for the news.
No, okay.
So anyway, Mariah Carey. Go ahead.
And then the last one, which I am so glad this did not go the way that they thought it was going to go. My boyfriend Bill Murray
Oh.
was in this movie. Now, it's not one of his, biggest parts ever, but it's a really clever part, really fun. He's got a cameo kind of little part, but it was almost Jim Carrey.
Tootsie.
No, that's good though.
Oh,
That's a
he's so
good
great in
guess.
that.
That's a really
Bill
good
Murray's
guess.
amazing
It's a
in
little
Tootsie.
later than that. It's
Jim
more
wasn't
like
even
early
born
90s.
then, though, was he?
That is one nutty hospital.
That was a good guess.
Oh my God.
Now, I'll give
Bill
this one
Murray.
to you. This one's a little harder.
No, no.
Wait,
Oh,
no.
okay.
Small part, right? All right.
Small part.
Kingpin.
Bill Murray, small
Yes,
part?
Kingpin.
Oh.
And whenever
the
Jim,
Farrelly brothers, yeah.
Jim Carrey
Makes
turned
sense.
it down, and they were like, "Well, who else could do it?" Bill Murray, and Bill Murray just threw the script out, came in, said whatever he wanted to, and came up with that whole hair thing.
Oh, my God.
And just was like, "I'll just do it like this," and they loved it.
What's the perfume line when he's at the waitress? He's take off some of the perfume and come. I can't remember.
He's
He's
awesome.
They had him for 11 hours. That was it.
That's it. They had to work as fast as they could. And lastly, let's wish a happy birthday.
Wait, let me just say, Dumb and
Yes?
Dumber 2 coming out. Going to be good?
Oh, well,
That is hard to say.
it could be. He hasn't done it in a while. He could be great at
I mean,
it again.
I want to see Jim Carrey be a fucking dope again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm excited for that because he literally hasn't played a dopey idiot since Cable Guy or whatever, right? Or
Wait, wasn't there Dumb and Dumberer?
Yeah, but
That was
with
a
other
prequel.
people.
Yeah.
Same thing with
Oh.
Son of the Mask and same thing with Ace Ventura 3.
Okay, so
But this
that
is
was-
even Jeff Daniels coming off the newsroom saying, fuck yeah, I'll be in Dumb and Dumber.
I know.
That's awesome.
Big
That's
gulps,
awesome.
huh?
I know.
Well, see ya.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for that turn and for Jim Carrey's turn
Yeah.
to start being super goofy again. I don't know.
All right, so let's wish a happy birthday to the lovely Zoe Deschanel,
Oh,
who
my
turns
goodness.
34 but
Flutter,
can
flutter.
play anywhere from Nora in The New Guy to Jess in New Girl. Now, Michael, every week I do birthdays and I look up people's birthdays and I come up with a bunch of information because I get to read about them on Wikipedia and
Right.
whatever nonsense the internet
When's
says.
your birthday, Michael?
March.
Oh,
Yeah, I looked
Aries.
his up. Yeah, I always look up the guests just to see if I can get them, but no, we'll have to bring you back. The cool thing about it is I learn important things about these people whenever I do this. And sometimes I fall in love with them and sometimes I hate them more. But this time, I got to tell you, something super awesome happened that made me very, very happy. So when I was researching, I saw there was a movie called The New Guy. And I thought, oh, I'll just do a little joke about the fact that she was in The New Guy and now she's in New Girl, huh? But then I did more research.
Not to be confused with the nude guy, which
The
is
Nude Guy,
Ron
which is
Jeremy.
Ron Jeremy.
Nude bomb.
He's promoting that currently.
Yeah, it's a prequel.
That's a prequel. So the new guy is a 2002 comedy about a high school senior branded uncool in the 9th grade who gets expelled. So he has a chance to start over as a new kid in town at another school. Right? That sounds great enough as it is. But it gets even better.
Starring?
It's directed by Ed Decker, right? It stars DJ Quayles, Eliza Dushku.
I like how some of those names are pronounced. Go ahead.
Yeah. And it stars Lyle Lovett.
I remember this movie.
If it were not for Zooey Deschanel, I thought
I'd seen all of DJ Qualls' movie.
I may not have known about this Lyle Lovett. I love Lyle Lovett. Bill Murray, Lyle Lovett. And I would not have known about this Lyle Lovett movie. So because of our lovely Deschanel, I now know about it and I can watch that. So happy birthday.
I knew that movie came out. I remember that movie. I forgot that's what it was called.
Daughter
It's as
of
if she's
Caleb
giving
Deschanel.
you a gift.
She is giving me a birthday gift
as
of
if-
the Lyle Lovett acting. And so, Lee, I know how much you love it when I have the celebrities sing.
I do.
I actually have one on this week who can sing pretty damn good.
Sure.
Lay
A
it
little
on me.
Zooey Deschanel singing, I Could Have Been Your Girl. And it's got a great little video, too. You should watch it.
She's naked.
She's very cute. Not naked.
Oh, that's right. She is in She and Him.
Yeah, she's
I heard
awesome.
She and Him for years and never knew it was her. I'm like, she has the loveliest voice. Who is this? I have to look that up sometime.
She has like a gritty Gilda Radner type voice. Gilda I loved to death, and she was a pretty good singer. But there's something neat about Zoe's voice is fuller, but it's got that Gilda quality. It's nice.
Interesting. Here's the movie guy's shit for you. Zoe
Lay it on me.
Deschanel, daughter of Caleb Deschanel, cinematographer of
Twin Peaks.
Jack Reacher.
Oh.
Also Twin Peaks, maybe. I don't know.
I think he even directed Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps another movie showcast, everybody. Together, we are the Movie Guys. Individually, we are.
Yeah.
The Movie Guys. Follow us on Twitter at The Movie Guys, on Facebook at facebook.com/The Movie Guys, as well as YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud. Instagram is growing. We're doing an Instagram at least every day. LinkedIn, I'm doing shit on there.
Good for you,
Are
Paul.
you doing shit on LinkedIn?
I
Good
am.
for you. Because
You
any day
go.
they're going to invent another site you got to be on.
Yeah.
Are you on Tumblr? You're not on Tumblr?
I'm not.
What is wrong with you? You're not on Tumblr.
So busy with Vine.
Too busy with Vine.
Yeah, but I'm the one neglecting Pinterest at the time. All right. Anyway, so Google Plus. Anyway, thanks to Michael Coleman, everybody.
Hey,
Michael
actually, I'd like to
Coleman.
plug something for Michael Coleman. If it's still on iTunes, if nobody has seen it, there's a show called The Factory, which makes me laugh very much because everybody in it is a genius from Chicago improvisers. There is an episode where Michael gets busted for marijuana. And I think it's called The Drug Bust is the name of the episode.
Yeah.
If you must buy one episode just to see Michael Coleman or anything, that episode kills me. That episode is so funny. And it's a structured show, but improvised around all that. And you guys are tops. And it's Mitch Rouse, and it's Jay Leggett, and who am I forgetting? Pasquazi, of course, yeah.
And that's that had a run on Comedy Central, right? And now you
Spike.
Spike. There you go.
Yeah.
And so now you can find it. I don't know where, but we'll look.
I think it's still on iTunes.
iTunes. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to Steve Scholes for his writing contributions to the show every week. And remember, you can always find everything we're up to at themovieguys.net. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, you guys.
Stephen Lewis added a couple jokes this week as well.
Yeah. Follow us on everything.
Just follow us.
Just don't stand
Which is
outside
something
of our
most-
house
Officer
and stare at us.
DeLongpre.
Follow us or we'll follow you.
We'll follow you.